happening, everyone? I just bumped the microphone on the desk. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a lovely day. Let's go ahead and continue on with some Peter Hammill. We're moving on to the next track here on In Camera, Faint Heart and the Sermon. Not a sermon for the faint of heart, or not a faint of heart for the sermon. Who knows? Anyways, you know I did it, right? You know what I did. What did I do before I even tell you? I forgot to look up the song. Hold on. It would be quick. It'd be super quick. Let's go ahead and listen to it. We'll talk about it after. Here we go.
With my face strained of color and my brain of blood, like Billy Budd, I'm lashed to the grating. With senses growing duller and with quaking heart, I make a start, a temperature equating, and my lungs suck useless air. Like paraplegic dancers in formation team, my understanding seems hidebound in its movements, contemplating answers that could break my bonds. To be half wrong would be in me improvement, but my comprehensive faculties are impaired. And it seems absurd, but now all I've learned fades in empty words and is worthless, as the human laugh rocks the cenotaph, but the joke is half true and mirthless. Trying to trace a reason from the spinning words, but all I've heard seem at odds with their meanings.
Love that synth there.
Phonetically pleasing, but delivered with such haste that in their place my mind commences screaming. On the verge of belief, I crash onto the reef, and the cynical thief steals my senses. So I cling to the view with dimensions askew, and recognition refuses present tenses. All the lives of the saints demonstrate that my faint is a minor complaint, but the end is nowhere in sight. Why can't I find me a way to go?
Love that melodrama.
Want to die in the nave, but I know it may be with me someday. So I've got to find a way I can save up my energies and find a cause to pray to something, for something to which I can give my creed.
A little rhythm starting in there. Almost sounds like a cello. It's like sinking down into like the murky depths below.
Gladly succumb to the wave if I thought the water taught away tonight. I'd gladly succumb and not brave. And it's easy to believe what the preacher says, except for the conflict raging between my head and my brain. I don't want to die, but just the same, someday. Waiting for the moment that I know will come, when I'll have to run and find another sermon. Every man and no man and the talking priest, well, I am at least holding all the doors open. Inside me or outside is shared as the crack bells peal. It all
Mellotron.
seems unreal, but the seventh seal stays unbroken. And the orphan plate tenders no escape. Still I refuse to scrape on the token of esteem for these false any ways of the cross, and I've tried to divorce sense from sensing. Tell me the way to go. So when I talk to myself, although I take good care to listen, my heart grows ever more faint. There's something missing.
I think that Hamill's choice of instruments and sounds and tones to use in this particular track are really interesting, because he could have taken this into a much more straightly piano piece, straightly orchestra piece, straightly rock piece. This is the kind of track that could have gone in many, many different directions depending on what he felt best fit. And in my mind, I'm thinking, why did Hammill choose this direction to go? Which kind of playfully dances between this abstract, kind of psychedelic, experimental, hints of prog, but, you know, no drums, no rock necessarily. Like, why did he choose to stay in this lane? And correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I've never, read about Hammill, personally or anything like that. I'm imagining that when he writes songs like this, he's writing based off of playing the piano. Like, he sits there singing and playing the piano. I know he does sing and play the piano a lot. And I imagine when he's writing songs like this that have other elements, he's basing it off of that. And you can clearly hear that direction here with all the synth, the mellotron that comes in so beautifully and so grandfully in the chorus, if you want to call it that. And I think that is how he takes that bass, that foundation of piano, and expands upon that with other instrumentations, or at least other sounds that are key-based, that really makes this very, very interesting to listen to. And his singing in here, in my opinion, is also kind of restrained. Yes, he's still singing as we've heard him sing, with drama aplomb and with passion and fire. But I feel like there's a little bit more of a reservation. Even when he gets into his more, let's just say, angrier tones near the end of the track, there's something still held back, as if he's trying to control and restrain himself, which I think really works into the lyrics and the story he's telling here, which is basically a conflict of faith and rational thought, I would say. And I was thinking about that, the meaning of the lyrics, alongside of the actual musical aspect. And this is just me spitting out my first impressions. This I have nothing to go off of besides what I've just heard. I feel like, in a sense, the piano, the more, let's just say, grounded instruments represent that rational thought, while the synth, the mellotron, represent acts of faith or faith-led thought. And that's what's kind of being brought together. Because this track, musically, to me, is strangely beautiful. almost awkwardly beautiful, as if the sounds don't perfectly fit with each other. But I think that also kind of works with the lyrics and what he's trying to say. I don't know. Let's read the lyrics. Let's do that. But I find it very alluring, as I do with a lot of his music. Like, I just find it very interesting, at least to listen to. And I did like the track. Let me, if that didn't come across right, I did enjoy the track. With my face drained of color and my brain of blood, like Billy Budd, I'm lashed to the grating. With senses growing duller, with the quaking heart, I make a start at temperature equating, and my lungs suck useless air. So at first I thought he was talking about dying and death, but as we go on, I do not believe so. Like paraplegic dancers in formation team, my understanding seems hidebound in its movements. Contemplating answers that could break my bonds, to be half wrong would be in me improvement. But my comprehensive faculties are impaired. Why are they impaired? And it seems absurd, but now I will have heard, fades in empty words and is worthless. As the human laugh rocks the cenotaph, but the joke is half true and mirthless. So not getting the complete picture. He's looking for the truth, the complete picture, but he's not getting it one way or another. Here we go. Trying to trace a reason from the spinning words, but all I've heard seems at odds with their meanings. Phonetically pleasing, but delivered in such haste that in their place my mind commences screaming. So obviously he's listening to a sermon, as it's entitled here in the track, and the words sound good. They're phonetically pleasing. They're poetic. They sound good. They tickle your ears, you could say, but delivered in haste. And in his mind, he just ends up screaming in confusion, like, that doesn't really make sense, or that doesn't sound right. So it's his rational mind trying to accept and understand what they're saying, but it's not quite gelling together. And I love this line, on the verge of belief. Like, he's almost there. I crash onto the reef, and a cynical thief steals my senses. So I cling to the pew with dimensions askew, and recognition refuses present tenses. All the lives of the saints demonstrate that my faint is a minor complaint. But the end is nowhere in sight. Why can't I find me a way to go? So, like, he's acknowledging certain things. Like he says, all the lives of the saints demonstrate that my faint is a minor complaint. Like, these are worthy people. Wow, I get it. These are people that should be venerated in some way. But at the same time, like, it's just not computing. And he doesn't quite know which way to go. I don't want to die in the nave, but I know it may be with me someday. So I've got to find a way I can save up my energies and find a cause to pray to something, for something to which I can give my creed. He wants to give his creed. He wants to give his worship, his soul, his spirit, whatever you want to call it. He wants to give it to something, but he needs to have faith in it before he can just, blindly give it up. I'll gladly succumb to the wave if I thought the water taught the way to the light. Like, he's willing to give himself up if it's the truth kind of thing. I'd gladly succumb, but I'm not brave. And it's easy to believe what the preacher says, except for the conflict raging between my head and my brain. I don't want to die, but just the same, someday. Like, he wants to put his faith into something, but at the same time, he's not being convinced. Waiting for a moment that I know will come when I'll have to run in to find another sermon. Every man and Norman and the talking priest, while I'm at least holding all the doors open, inside me, all outside is shared. Basically saying he's open to accepting a faith or a truth as long as they can prove it to him, kind of thing. As the cracked bells peal, it all seems unreal, but the seventh seal stays unbroken. Like, that seventh seal is still not open and revealed to him. And the offertory plate tenders no escape. Still I refuse to scrape up a token of esteem for these false alleyways of the course. I must try to divorce sense from sensing. Tell me the way to go. So when I talk to myself, although I take good care to listen, my heart grows ever more faint. There's something I'm missing. Like, he's wide open, like he says. He's an open door, but there's just something that's missing. Something that's not quite convincing him. So he'll remain open-hearted and open-minded, but that door seems to be closing little by little. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought of the track. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed sitting here and listening to me. You can follow me in a bunch of places here on the screen. Support the channel, what I do on Patreon. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And next time we'll go ahead and listening to side B, the second side of the album. I'll see you all later. Bye.